Hi, my name is Emily New, and today we'll be presenting over orchestrated serendipity. So before we move on, I just want to take a quick second and explain what I mean by that. To me, orchestrated serendipity is strategically planning unique experiences in your event so that your guests view them as a surprise. So why did I choose orchestrated serendipity? So first, people are always looking for unique experiences. When we see someone else have something that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, we also want to try to do that. I always think of Disney World fireworks shows. Those shows kind of always make you feel like it's only happening right then and there and it's not going to happen ever again. In reality, we know they do those shows every night. And so I chose this topic because as a planner, we need to explore how those experiences are created and how we give people more than what's regular and expected. And then lastly, I chose this topic because I personally don't have a lot of experience with it. So why is creating orchestrated serendipity important? So the first one is that attendees want to be able to brag about their experiences. People, in the case of conferences and events, are spending lots of money to be there, so they want more than just the basic conference. They want something special. So planners need to be able to accomplish that along with the basics. They go hand in hand. And then on top of that, these experiences can't be forced. They need to be seamlessly incorporated into everything else that's happening at the event. Because if it's not seamless and people are expecting it, then it's not really a surprise anymore. It's because they know it's coming. So my next point is that serendipity can attract new attendees, and this relates to the promotion aspect as well. When you have an event that has more than just the workshops and keynote speakers, people are going to go out and talk about it, and that's word of mouth promotion, and that can eventually lead to new people signing up and coming to your event. And then we have, as my third point, orchestrated serendipity at events can inspire people. There's research by Blair Potter where he talks about how these unique events can create associations, and associations often lead to new ideas. And if we look at an example of a work conference, new ideas means more money, and more money can in turn mean more dollars spent at next year's conference. So as planners, it's really important that we do more than the basics because there's added benefits. Now I have two examples of orchestrated serendipity. The first is the Falling Walls Conference. And at this conference, they designed the keynote speaker time so all attendees are listening and together. And then they do this because it leads to cross-discipline collaboration. So essentially that's just two groups of people who might not have been working on something before. Now they're going to come together and accomplish or get a task done together. The second example is Taylor Swift's 1989 World Tour. On this tour, at every show, every night she had a different special guest. Guests had no idea it would happen, or if they knew about it, they didn't know who their guest was going to be. So it was a really great way to keep the fans on their toes and sell last-minute tickets if a show wasn't sold out. And now, how does orchestrated serendipity relate to our class, HTM 162? So our class lays the foundation of everything that needs to go into a meeting event that we can then apply more in-depth specialized knowledge to. So the basics are really important. Without them, a serendipity wouldn't matter in a meeting because people would view it as a mistake. Because if you can't even have your registration booth, a special guest or a special event is just going to seem like more poor planning. So it's really important that we have those basics that we can then apply orchestrating serendipity to. Now we have suggestions on how you can incorporate serendipity into your meetings. These are 4 sub-trends that come from Marriott International in the PCMA. The first one is to create human collision. This one is just about finding ways to get people to talk to one another and have that real-time interaction rather than through the internet or the phone. Next, we have leverage context. This one is about using the physical environment to create serendipitous moments. So this one is more about, instead of using a basic layout for your conference, maybe you use something that's more intricate, but now it leads to guests exploring and asking questions more than if you had just done the simple basic way. Third, we have embrace natural serendipity. This one is about if something happens that you weren't planning, if you take control of it and put a spin on it, you've now given your guests that much more. And you can really make it something special rather than having to make it something that you're apologizing for. And then lastly, we have deprioritize convenience. This one is all about using convenience as with strategy. So rather than having everything on your conference app, maybe you've kind of streamlined it and made it a smaller app, so that way now people are asking more questions. It's more surprising, there could be more little adventures because people have to figure things out on their own rather than having it just all there in one place. Now, these subtrends are on the small scale side of things, but I picked these ones intentionally for this project because it's important to remember that serendipity doesn't always have to be as large scale as when Taylor Swift invites people like Selena Gomez to her concert. And as new and young event planners, we should focus on smaller things before we try to move up to something super large. So in conclusion, we can see that orchestrated serendipity already plays a role in our lives, and so planners will need to make use of smaller trends such as the ones I've suggested in order to achieve serendipity into their meetings. And then here I have my sources on the last two slides, and thank you for listening.